This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. These are 16 stories that we're following this week, and thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. First, we'll try and go through this fairly quickly, and at any time you have comments or an issue you think we should cover or you disagree with me, which are my favorite text, 773-766-5322. First, the markets finished mixed on Friday. The Dow and S&P slightly up and the NASDAQ slightly down. Second, the Dow rallied to close over 40,000 at the end of the week last week. The record's being hit at 40,000, something in my lifetime I didn't know that we would hit, quite frankly. Third, the NASDAQ and S&P 500 have each surged over the last couple of weeks. The NASDAQ is now up 13% year to date. The S&P 500 is up 12% year to date, or almost 12% year to date. Fourth, Bitcoin jumped to come back to nearly 67,000. Amazing to see what's going on with Bitcoin again. Crypto funds and big VC funds again investing a lot in crypto and the future of crypto. Fifth, cannabis stocks for the first time in a few years are now up around 32% year to date. Sixth, Nike is down 15% year to date. Nike needs a new Phil Knight, a new Michael Jordan. There's only so many guys my age that will keep on buying the Jordan golf shoes. We're all sort of middle-aged wannabes that want to be like Mike, which, remember that ad band from our generation. Some of us want to be like Bob, but I'll say be like Mike today. That's a great brother-in-law named Bob. But at the end of the day, we'll say, they got to find something beyond Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods to accelerate Nike going forward. If Nike's down 15%, they're making Under Armour look bad. Seventh, Under Armour is down 22% year to date. One of my favorite writers, Yahoo Finance editor Brian Socci, calls their CEO, Kevin Plank, one of the worst CEOs in the game. He, again, is a boomerang CEO, someone who's come back. Eighth, Oracle, still driven by Larry Ellison, keeps on moving forward. It's up 17% year to date. Amazing what Larry Ellison continues to do, just really amazing. Ninth, amazing to hear John Meacham speak at the Tulane University graduation ceremony. A great historian, a very balanced view, just fantastic. 10th, my favorite line of the week, which may apply in so many areas of life, is a bad peace is better than a good war. And I think this is fascinating. And I think you have to be careful taking this too far in trying to avoid conflict because you leave yourself in a much worse position in the long run if you take this too far. 11th, a great column this week in Yahoo Finance also on longevity. And the core concept in this article is you better plan on working longer, maybe not in the same way, but how to mix it up for a longer life. 12th, FOMO rises again. Chipotle Grill. I'm too old to eat Chipotle all the time, even though I actually love it when I do indulge with the children at Chipotle. But the stock is at 40% year to date. And it's really sends a sign there's still plenty of room to invest in core businesses that are really well run. 13, Intel Corp, maybe the worst performing subsidized company, chip stock in the history of the world. It's down 36% year to date. It seems like everyone is throwing money at them, and they're producing J's or Frito-Lay chips, while NVIDIA is making all those newfangled Pringles types of chips. I really date myself and use those analogies. 14th, recently Tesla seems to be holding the line on stock. It's down 28% year to date, but it's sort of been there for a while. It seems to be moving back in the right direction. Finally, 15. When people demonize Walgreens, Walmart, and CVS for their situation with not having, not continuing to grow out their primary care base and so forth, I think there's multiple pieces to this, but front and center is the fact that in our nation, we just don't have enough doctors. And so these companies that all built out the concepts of big healthcare plans are having a very hard time doing that with so many doctors already owned by other people. There sort of reminds me of sort of companies that got to the dance late. You look at companies like Optum and others that got so far ahead of this, and now we're 200,000 short of primary care physicians. And so when you think about this, I think that demonizing these companies is the wrong answer. I think the reality is we just don't have enough doctors in our country, and there's not a lot that essentially CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart could do to hire enough doctors and PAs to staff what they had planned to staff. So that's what we see there. The final story we're following today, 16, is I say often that our country needs a lot more doctors. I think that's very, very true. One of the things I get from people is if we just had a better system of well care and people ate better and did everything else, we wouldn't have this problem. I couldn't agree more. The reality is I don't see those things changing in a long time, maybe in my lifetime. So in the meantime, we better have more doctors just in case. Thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Thank you very, very much.